He was dying of thirst, a serious wound bleeding on the battlefield. A flask of water finally in his hands. He raised it to his lips. And then he stopped. He had seen something. A common soldier nearby. Dying. Thirsty. Forgotten. Sir Philip Sidney looked at the water. Looked at the dying man. And handed it away. He said 4 words that history has never forgotten. Thy necessity is yet greater than mine. And then he died. Sir Philip Sidney was not just a knight. He was the Renaissance ideal made flesh. Born 1554, son of a prominent English family. By his 20s, he was already extraordinary. Poet, scholar, courtier, soldier, diplomat. He did everything brilliantly. His literary works defined an era. Arcadia, A Defense of Poesy, Astrophil and Stella. He wrote with the same intensity he fought. He was friends with Francis Drake, Edmund Spenser, and Queen Elizabeth herself. He was everything the age of Elizabeth celebrated. Beauty, intelligence, courage, honor. And, like all things too perfect, he did not last long. September 1586, Zutphen, Netherlands. England was fighting to support Dutch Protestant rebels against Spanish imperial forces. Sidney was commanding English cavalry. Before the battle, he noticed something. A veteran officer riding into combat. A man with experience and courage. But the officer had left behind his cuisses, the armor plates that protect the thighs. Perhaps they were damaged. Perhaps they were uncomfortable. Whatever the reason, the man was unprotected. Sidney made a decision. If his comrade rode unprotected, then Sidney would not be better protected. He removed his own thigh armor and rode into battle without it. That decision would kill him. The cavalry charge was fierce. Spanish muskets firing into the English ranks. Sidney rode at the front, always at the front. A musket ball found the gap where his armor had been. It struck him in the left thigh, the unprotected left thigh. The wound was serious, but not immediately fatal. Sit-in. Practice not a fortis to gravitas vortin. The battle continued without him. He would survive the battle, but the weeks after would be the real enemy. Sidney was carried from the field. The wound was cleaned as best they could, but infection had already begun its slow work. Over the following days and weeks, Sidney's condition deteriorated. Gangrene spread through the wounded leg. The 16th century had no antibiotics, no way to stop what had started. But before the end came, before the gangrene finished its work, there was a moment, a small human moment, that history remembered forever. Sidney was being carried from the battlefield, suffering terribly, desperately thirsty. Someone gave him a flask of water. He raised it to his parched lips and saw the dying common soldier, lying in the mud nearby, looking at the water with desperate eyes. Sidney lowered the flask from his own lips and held it out. Thy necessity is yet greater than mine. Sir Philip Sidney died at Arnhem on October 17, 1586. He was 31 years old. The infection had spread too far. There was nothing more to be done. His death devastated England. Queen Elizabeth wore mourning for him. Poets across Europe wrote elegies. Edmund Spenser wrote Astrophel. The Netherlands mourned him as a hero. But here is the dark irony. Sidney died because he chose solidarity, because he refused to be better protected than a fellow soldier. His honor killed him. The act of giving away the water? He was already dying when he did it. The thigh wound had sealed his fate weeks before. The water wouldn't have saved him. But he didn't know that for certain. He gave it away anyway. Sir Philip Sidney, poet, scholar, knight, dead at 31. From a wound he chose to make possible, by removing his own armor, out of solidarity with a fellow soldier. He is remembered today for 4 words. 4 words spoken to a dying stranger. While Sidney himself was dying, that is either the most beautiful thing in history, or the saddest, or both. Subscribe, because the best people always have the shortest stories.